Hello, my name is Uma. I've studied in many schools and colleges, but I very proudly call myself as a product of Neel Bagh School, student of David Hospital, because actual education took place from that school itself. And the school was started in 1972, and I'm the senior most, one of the senior most student of the school who has experienced many of his ideologies, principles, and I feel very proud to be part of that school. And to speak about some of the challenges that he faced in his school progress, usually people cannot visualize education without examinations. And here, this was a school where we could study without exams, study in your own pace, not competing with anyone, focusing on different activities, different potentials. But here, that was the basic principle, was one of the principle of that school. And when he started the school, when the parents realized that there were no exams, first standard to second standard or whatever those exams, they did not like this. So people started questioning him, parents especially. How can you have a system without examinations? So this was one of the biggest hurdle or a challenge that he has to face, answering this question, confronting his problems to the parents. And one of the person who was very much against this system without school having without exams was my uncle. So after I left school also, Neel Bagh school also, I had to pursue in many colleges, universities to complete my studies, because he believed in that system. But here it was a total contradiction. But it took very long time for people to realize that even education system can exist without exams. So in that way, it was a totally different perception, redefinition for education he gave to an education system. Usually in the present situation, teachers, parents cannot think of exams, or they want to put their child for medicine, professional courses. Here the main thing was we had to identify what the child is at his best. So we were exposed to different activities, carpentry, painting, crafts, variety of things. Most probably, if he was alive for another few years, definitely I wouldn't have come to this place where I am now. I would be definitely doing some craft work, carpentry. I was so good at carpentry, one of the best students in carpentry. I could have excelled myself in carpentry or in any other activity. But definitely my passion for teaching was inspired by David Hospital only. And I still remember, usually every week, Wednesdays after 5 or 6 o'clock, we used to have a session where all the students used to sit in his library. And we used to talk about various things, questions. We used to raise so many questions, and different opinions were given for those questions. So, and in one particular that session, I was asked, all of us was asked, what do you like to be when you grow up? I had said I want to become a teacher. Most probably that inspiration was because of him and other teachers we had over there. And I feel very proud to be a teacher, what I am doing. And unlike these commercial colleges or students that we get now, I am teaching rural students only in my college. And I have the opportunity to introduce his ideas where I make my children. We used to work in heterogeneous class where the old students teach younger ones. Here also I apply the same rule in my classroom. Only thing is, it's a big class. Whenever I get the opportunity to handle small classrooms, I implement those principles over there. So that was one of the biggest inspiration, as well as one of his problem where he had to confront with the parents. And another thing, he also used to solve many problems. He used to, there are villages nearby Neel Bagh. Whenever there are problems for other people, these farmers and all that, he used to visit them, settle the problems apart from the schools. And he used to invite those people to the place and talk to them. In that way, he also had a big, great respect for not only this different kind of education is given to the children of the villages, he also used to take part in their other problems, guide them. This was one of the things he used to do for this. And as Nabushan was talking, it was not only the students who were getting educated, he also used to, the people who used to work in Neel Bagh, parents, those every week or every day, at least for half an hour, the students had to teach these children, I mean the parents. We used to sit under these trees, on a small table. Each student was allotted with a parent or most of two people, and we used to teach. Just like how we used to learn in the classroom, the same thing we used to be applied for the parents. So many parents also got to learn writing and reading and writing, many of them. Other activities which usually those students, no other schools have that opportunity to have so many variety of activities, performing, stage drama. Every end of the term, the students were under his guidance only. We used to perform so many plays, and we used to recite so many Shakespeare plays. At the age of very young, not even 14, we would have read so many of Shakespeare plays. Usually, but not even at the 10th or 11th standard, a student can get the opportunity to study one play. But we were able to read, study, recite the dialogues, memorize, listen, and also we had the opportunity to visit so many plays performed by the Cambridge theatres in Bangalore. He used to bring us in the Ravindra Kalakshetra, Chaudhary Memorial Hall. So many plays we had seen at that age, and we could read them. In other schools, definitely we will not get that kind of opportunity. Singing, it's such a beautiful principle where the day starts with singing. Your mind is refreshed and your concentration is built. The students learning all this, so such a good education is being brought into limelight without his knowledge, without any force applied on him. And he's learning in his own pace, not competing. Can we ever think of a class or a student without competing with another student? That's not that. That kind of attitude was not there. That inbuilt was not put in that. Student had the freedom to learn in his own pace, and he had to realize what his talent is. And based on that, he could improve himself. We have lot of villages, but he took students from very nearby villages. There were only 2 or 3 villages. And all of them come from very economically, socially backward students. And most of the students' parents were working in the Neel Bagh campus itself, and some of the students came from the villages also. And they are not very rich. You can put them under very backward families only. It's a free education. He did not take not even a single pie, and most probably he also maintained all his system management out of his own expenses. When you get somebody including into it, then you have to go according to their principles also, which he did not like it. He had to work on his royalties, on his books, whatever income that he had, though he must have had a trust. But academically, those people were not included into this academic activities. And most of his books we used to study were his books only. Social studies, science, and other books. And many of his books had his students as the characters in the textbooks. Very familiar names, students, situations, all that came from the school itself. So he used to say, my children. And his characters are also his children there. It was like that.